You're watching TSN, the sports network.
Southern Saskatchewan in early July. It can mean only one thing, football. The weatherman was calling for thunder showers earlier in the day. We have had some rain, but as of now, it has held off. Saskatchewan Roughrider football fans are looking for brighter things in 1992, and tonight their team gets a stern test as the Saskatchewan Roughriders play host to the Calgary Stampeders. You're watching the CFL season kickoff on TSN and the CFL Report.
In my case, I paid 12 years and I'm asked to take a 35% cut. That's, thanks a lot. I've done a lot, for the team, for the league and everything, and this is the thanks I get.
The cap means cuts in the nation's capital. The CFL Insider looks at the effect of the salary cap on league teams. Also ahead on the CFL Report, Doug Flutie heads the list of big-name quarterbacks who have changed residences. And living on the edge, it's the Riders' new watchword. Those stories and more coming up on the CFL Report. The CFL Report on TSN is brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it. Calgary and Regina are separated by about 6 hours of highway. They were a lot further than that last year. Saskatchewan Roughriders hope to do something about that this season as they kick off the 1992 season. It's the Roughriders at home to the Calgary Stampeders. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the season debut of the CFL on TSN. We've got the league's kickoff coming up in about a half an hour. We've got a jam-packed CFL report coming up over the next 30 minutes. Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders get a stern test in Game 1 of their 1992 season. They'll not only face the defending Western Division champions, they will face the #1 player from the CFL last season. He, of course, is Doug Flutie. Man, well, the Riders have their hands full tonight. Last year, the Saskatchewan Roughriders had the worst defense in the CFL. In fact, if you look at the record book, it was the worst in league history. The Riders gave up 710 points, a CFL record that works out to an average of 44 points a game. The most embarrassing loss came at the hands of the Toronto Argonauts, who scored 62 points against a listless Rough Rider D. But that was 1991. The Riders say 1992 will be a vastly different story.
Defensively, we are going to attack and attack in all phases of the defense. Pressure the offense and see if we can't create some turnovers.
One of the players Matthews is counting on is Tyrone Jones, acquired in the offseason from Winnipeg. Jones played 8 years for the Bombers and was a CFL All-Star in 4 of those seasons. And he's known for his rambunctious personality.
Winnipeg, man. This is real training camp, Cal. Get ready for 26. You're going to bring the heat. Right.
This season, the Riders would like to see Jones play on the field speak much louder than his many words.
Yeah, we ready for y'all, baby! Let's go.
In addition to Jones, the Rough Riders acquired free agent Gerald Bayless, who started last season with the BC Lions in the starting lineup, but he struggled and was released. The Rough Riders have been impressed with Bayless's conditioning, and they're counting on him to provide the push up the middle that will be critical to a successful pass rush. With the additions of Jones and Bayless, and with Bobby Jurison and Gary Lewis returning to the lineup, the Rough Riders should have a great pass rush this season. They'll need it, because tonight, the Rough Riders get a stiff test in Doug Flutie, the most elusive quarterback in the CFL. And joining us now on the CFL Report is Calgary quarterback Doug Flutie. It's a new offense for you, Doug, but will we see the same kind of play we saw last year from you?
Hopefully. I'm in a situation where I'm starting to become very comfortable with the offense, and it's basically the same offense. We run the same type of patterns, same type of pass protections, and as we go along, Coach Huff will get a feel for the type of things the things that I do well, and we'll mold it towards that as we go along.
Has John Huffnagel and the other coaches, have they changed this offense a little bit to accommodate you at all?
Not at all. Basically, it's the same offense they had last year, and I'm just fitting into it. I think what will happen eventually is my abilities will take over and certain things will become our strong suits. And as the year goes on, we'll find out what that is. But as of right now, he's calling the shots from the sideline, and I'm just running the plays and trying to just do my part, because we do have a talented team, and let the guys make plays.
Doug, there's a lot of expectations in Calgary. This team, of course, went to the Grey Cup game last year, and they're calling you the man who can take them that extra step. Do you feel that pressure?
No, not really. I feel the pressure to do well all the time. I mean, your own personal goals, for me, to win a championship has always been my goal. And when you're second, you lose, and it's a failure. So you don't settle for anything less. I think the pressure you put on yourself to win is more than any pressure anyone else could put on you.
Doug, thanks very much for talking to us, and good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Calgary quarterback Doug Flutie. Containing him is the challenge to the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense. And for more on that, here are John and Leaf.
There are 6 new faces in that Saskatchewan Roughrider defensive alignment as we begin this 1992 season. And the Roughriders are hoping one player in particular, a guy who came down the road from Winnipeg by the name of Tyrone Jones, will be the impact player they need.
Well, they really needed to have a veteran come in and a veteran raise the intensity level on that defense. Don Matthews was very happy to be able to trade for a Tyrone Jones, and has been even happier with his performance in training camp. Tyrone's role with this club is going to be different, though. We remember him from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the past, and what they did was play a 3-4 defense, and what indicates there, Tyrone is on the outside there, and in that 3-4, a lot of times he would blitz. He was able to be blocked by an offensive tackle. Here you see the guard takes the end. So Tyrone was always blocked, usually by a big man. And this year it's going to be a little different as his role will change with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Now, do you think that Tyrone Jones will be more effective in the way Don Matthews puts his defensive scheme together?
Yeah, I think he has a great chance to be more effective. What they're trying to do is create a mismatch, and as I'm going to show you, it's a 4-3 defense now that they're going to use in Saskatchewan, and this could create a mismatch. Here's Tyrone. He is no longer over in that spot over there. He's come over here. Now, watch what can occur. Here's Bobby Jurison. He may pass rush out there. He'll be blocked by a tackle. There's Gary Lewis. He comes straight up the field. He'll be blocked by the guard. There's Gerald Bayless on the center. He may go this way. So now you can see the natural openings that are created for a Tyrone Jones to come through. And who has to block him? Either Key Van Jenkins or Annie McVeigh from the Calgary Stampeders tonight. That is a mismatch. That's what Saskatchewan would like to create in this attack-style defense, and Tyrone Jones will maybe have a better opportunity blitzing the quarterback to be blocked by a smaller man than he was in the past with those 3-4 defenses in Winnipeg.
Quick thought, I'm going to put you on the spot. Ty Jones is 31 next month. Can he play 18 games for the Roughriders this season?
Well, it's very difficult. That's a long schedule. I mean, he is in extremely good physical shape. He's always fun to talk to, and he's going to be a plus for this defense. They needed a leader, and he certainly will provide that.
I think you got off the hook. Here's Gord Miller.
Nice job, Leaf. Well, playing as Tyrone Jones isn't anyone's idea of a good time, but hey, football is about fun, and to help us let the good times roll, we've enlisted professional help, which a lot of people think was long overdue. His name is Lawrence Morgenstern, a stand-up comedian from Toronto, and Lawrence is with us now on the CFL Report.
Gord, I'm standing here in the Riders practice field just across from the stadium, where an estimated 2,000 to 3,000 people will whoop it up before the game. There used to be a lot more, but they raised the cover charge to 50 cents. Now, I know I'm new to the CFL Report team, but I hardly think it's fair that I should be given such a grueling task first time out. I mean, after all, isn't there something less demanding than reporting on a party? Oh, thank you. However, I am a professional and will muddle through. There's all kinds of activities and events to report on here, and I'll be back later to tell you about them. In the meantime, I have the unenviable task of interviewing the cheerleaders. Back to you, Gord.
Year and a half on the sidelines, never interviewed a cheerleader. By the way, I understand the Vichy Sois is excellent here in Regina, Lawrence. And so is the CFL Report, which will continue in a moment. You're watching CFL action coming up live from Regina. The initial edition of the CFL Report for 1992. Well, Lawrence Morgenstern has his hands full, what with all the fine wine, the good food, and the cheerleaders. So let's check in and see what he's up to now.
Gord, the party is really heating up, particularly the barbecue over there, where O'Toole's burgers are on sale. A rather unique buffet setup, actually. What you do is you buy your bun here, and it is ostensibly your burger ticket. You then go over to the grill and pick the burger of your choice. Well, it's a pretty efficient system, except for one flaw, from what I hear. Some less scrupulous types are smuggling their own buns into the park and therefore trying to get themselves free burgers, which of course provides a logistics nightmare for the security staff that has to search people for concealed baked goods. Of course, if this keeps up, you know what'll happen in the future. Yes, unregistered condiments. It's like I've always said, if you outlaw mustard, only outlaws will have mustard. Hold on. I think I see somebody with some smuggled buns now. Ah! Oh, sorry. Wrong buns. Back to you, Gord.
He might be lucky to make it through his first CFL report. Well, a lot of people didn't make it through this CFL offseason for a number of reasons. There were retirements, trades, and players who were cut in training camp. And not everybody was let go because he wasn't good enough. Some were let go because the price wasn't right.
Drive 40 minutes south of Ottawa and you'll reach Kempville. It's a quiet town of 2,437 people where the fishing is still pretty good off the Main Street Bridge. It's also home to the Ottawa Rough Riders training camp. And while Kempville hasn't changed much over the years, the Rough Riders are not the same team they were even a few months ago. Gone from last year's roster are safety Scott Flegel, offensive lineman Gerald Roper, defensive lineman Lloyd Lewis, and quarterback Damon Allen.
I would have liked to work with Damon Allen. I think Damon Allen's got a lot of talent, and he certainly does, has proved that in this league. So I would have liked to have a shot to have him here.
Slightly more fortunate than the players who were not re-signed are 15 current riders who were asked to take pay cuts.
It's really hard, if in my case I paid 12 years and I'm asked to take a 35% cut, that's, thanks a lot. I've done a lot, for the team, for the league and everything, and this is the thanks I get.
Rough Rider General Manager Dan Rambo made the cuts to save his team money and meet the CFL's $3 million salary cap.
I think a bunch of us throughout the league now are going to have to be accountable. And so knowing that early on, I just took the steps 6 months ago to try to get it in line by the first regular season game.
New CFL Commissioner Larry Smith has made it clear that any club exceeding the salary cap will be penalized in one of the following ways. A fine, possibly 50% of the amount the team exceeded the cap by. Loss of a draft pick in the CFL's amateur draft. Or even loss of a player to a team that did not exceed the cap. The salary cap was created in 1988 by then Commissioner Doug Mitchell. It was intended to make clubs act fiscally responsible. Some clubs were, some were not. In the spring of 1990, the financially strapped Ottawa Rough Riders drew criticism from other teams when they signed a group of high-profile and expensive free agents.
We have a $3 million salary cap like everybody else has. How we spend that $3 million is our business. It's none of anybody else's business. And I wish everybody else would look after their own teams and let us look after ours.
By last season, Ottawa's payroll had ballooned to $3.8 million, and only intervention by the league saved the team from bankruptcy. But with a change in ownership, the team that was the biggest abuser of the salary cap has now become its biggest supporter. However, not everyone is happy with the team's new thrifty philosophy. Linebacker Greg Stuman was one of the 15 players asked to take a pay cut.
I was under the impression, once you sign a contract and you've not been terminated for no other reason, I didn't think that the salary thing should come up in the middle of a contract, because, you can go out in the middle of a contract and play well and they don't approach you to offer you more money, so I thought maybe it should work both ways.
Defensive lineman Glenn Kulka, the team's player representative, was also asked to take a pay cut.
The bad thing is that with the cap, you only can make so much money. But the good thing is like I said, the security that you have as a league and as a franchise guarantees you're going to have a job.
By the time training camp broke, the Rough Riders had trimmed over $700,000 off their payroll. Financially, they're stronger. Whether or not this will weaken the team on the field remains to be seen.
Those are the sponsors for today's game.
And joining us live on the CFL Report is Saskatchewan General Manager Alan Ford. Alan, how much does the salary cap figure now when you take a look at a player?
Well, it certainly figures in who we can have on our football team. I think the salary cap is more important for the health of the whole league. And we voted to allow a marquee player. We think that's important for marketing, but the rest of the players have to come under that cap in order for all the teams to be successful.
These are tough penalties for going over the cap. What do you think of them?
Well, I think they're very fair. I think you can lose draft picks, you can lose neg list players, you can be fined, and there has to be stiff penalties in order to get teams to adhere to it.
You guys missed the salary cap by about $130,000 last year. How are you coping with it?
Well, we've done some renegotiating in the offseason, and we've had great cooperation. It always boils down to cooperation from your players, and we have not been in the press a lot about it. We've had, as I mentioned, some great cooperation. So it's really basically going back to the players and asking them to adjust their salary expectations.
Thanks very much, Alan.
My pleasure.
Saskatchewan General Manager Alan Ford. This, to be sure, is not an easy issue. In many ways, it's a minefield. And to continue our walk through it, here again are John and Leif.
I guess in some ways the Canadian Football League has to face the facts of the 90s, and it really is scale-down time. Is it what you see?
Yeah, it is, John. There's no question about it. The revenues coming in are just not enough to warrant teams having a budget, salary budget of over $3 million. It's a real double-edged sword, though. I mean, I feel sorry for a guy like Greg Stuman. He signs a contract in good faith, and he's a veteran player. He's got a budget that he lives by based upon what he expects he's going to make, and all of a sudden he's asked to take less. I sympathize with that. But what every player and everybody associated with the CFL has to remember, if you're making $100,000 and you're asked to drop it down to $80,000, it's a lot better than making zip.
Yeah, it's still a paycheck, and I guess most difficult to understand is a salary cap when you've got marquee players in Canadian football, some guys making $1 million a year. We'll continue live from Taylor Field in Regina. This is the CFL Report as we get ready for the 1992 Canadian Football League opener.
And we're getting set for the kickoff to the 1992 CFL season, and so are these Saskatchewan fans who are hoping for better things in 92 after their team missed the playoffs last season. Well, among the many new features we have on our telecast this year is a halftime feature we call The Entertainers. It makes its debut at halftime of tonight's game, and we think you'll enjoy it. Bob Poley and David Sapunjas go toe-to-toe, so to speak. Your host is Daryl K. Smith, and you'll get a chance to vote on who you think is the most entertaining. And speaking of entertainers, our resident comic, Lawrence Morgenstern, continues to prowl the grounds around Taylor Field. Lawrence, what are you up to now?
Gord, the crowd around me is extremely rowdy. There's just no controlling them. Quiet, please. Can you please be quiet? I'm trying to talk. There seems to be no hope of controlling them. I've shown them the TSN blazer, and they've showed no respect. I will muddle through, however. I have some Canadian football trivia to report, and I'm just going to read it. For instance, did you know that Canadians invented the quarterback? Yes, that's right. The game was pretty slow until we came along. We played a big role in the movement of the ball down the field. Wind was actually a bigger role until we came along. Here's something else. While we now have 2 Rough Riders in the league, did you know that at one point there was an all-time high of 7 just before World War II and the Rough Rider rationing? However, as far as who the best team is, I think we can ask this crowd, who's the best? And who's going to win tonight's game? And who's going to win the Grey Cup this year? And if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes. And was Camus right when he said you are not what you are, but what you are not? Yes. Well, there you have it, Gord. Back to you.
I was right with you until those last 2, Lawrence. I might have to go look those up. Well, if you want to find a quarterback in the CFL this year, you will need a program because plenty of them changed residences in the offseason. Around the league in Week 1, we take a look at many of the new faces in the league. The story of this CFL offseason was the game of musical chairs played by the league's quarterbacks. $1 million a year lured Doug Flutie, the league's MVP last year, to the red and white of the Calgary Stampeders.
I'm excited about the whole situation. I didn't believe that this was going to be the alternative and where I would end up. And now that I am in Calgary, I'm excited about it.
Flutie's move east left the door open for Stampeder quarterback Danny Barrett, who signed on with the Lions. And in Toronto, Matt Dunnigan may have led the Argos to the Grey Cup, but it wasn't enough to earn the often injured quarterback the contract he wanted. So he packed his bags and signed a free agent deal with Winnipeg.
Matt did what was best for him. You know, he wanted a guarantee, and apparently he got it.
Dunnigan's arrival in Winnipeg was enough to send incumbent quarterback Tom Burgess to Ottawa, and the Riders embraced Burgess after losing their starting quarterback, Damon Allen, to free agency and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. There were 2 coaching changes in the offseason. Winnipeg's Cal Murphy said goodbye to Darryl Rogers and hired himself, while the Ottawa Rough Riders made longtime CFL assistant Ron Smeltzer their new head coach. The CFL also has a new boss this year. He's Larry Smith, the former Montreal Alouette who spent the last 12 years in Montreal.
During that time, I followed the league very closely, and I guess in the back of my mind, I always thought that if there was ever an opportunity that I could contribute to the continued growth and success of the league, that I'd like to try it.
Smith has already made an impact in the area of CFL expansion, helping organize a very successful preseason game in Portland, Oregon, a potential site for expansion. The league will be without some very familiar faces this year. Veteran slot back Jay Christensen was cut by the BC Lions. Edmonton running back Reggie Taylor is living in San Diego after a contract hassle. And offensive lineman Lloyd Fairbanks announced his retirement after 17 years in the league.
1,200 different players. This is a league of stability.
Saskatchewan released defensive back Richie Hall, who seems to be at the end of his 9-year career. Winnipeg center Lyle Bauer won't be playing for the team, but he will be working for them. He retired to become the Winnipeg assistant GM. And Ottawa decided not to renew the contract of perennial all-star safety Scott Flagel. Among the other moves, the Argos lost a couple of linebackers, Darryl Ford to the Detroit Lions and Chris Gaines to retirement. While Hamilton will be without the CFL's all-time leading pass catcher, Rocky DiPietro, who retired. Coming up next, take a walk on the wild side with Saskatchewan head coach Don Matthews. That's coming up next on the CFL Report.
Check the map.
Welcome back to Regina. His title is head coach and director of football operations. Don Matthews has the Grey Cup rings to back it up. His watchword is living on the edge. And yes, he's got the Harley to back it up too.
It's always been my style as a football coach to try to attack in all aspects of the football game. Attacking defense, I believe in. It creates big plays, but it's take a risk type of defense. But I'm willing to take the risks, hence the slogan of living on the edge.
Everybody raise your level. Everybody raise your level. This is a playoff game. If this was the Grey Cup, you could not play any harder. You could not play any better. The only way to do it is to get on the bench one time. Let's go to work.
I want to get players that feel that they are better than the other team, and when they go on the field, the attitude is, we're going to win because we are better.
Did you get a bad call? Did you get a bad call?
During the game, the players expect from me an aggressive game, and I expect aggressive play from them.
We got to go get them all day long. Nice job, D. Here we go.
We will take a chance. We will take risk. We will fake punts.
That's all right. Nothing hurt. They'll stay off of us all night. They'll be afraid of our fakes.
They know that I'm willing to live on the edge as a coach, and that they're expected to be able to do the same as a player.
Regular. Pitcher, what's the matter, bud? We can't call a play. You're not in the game.
Fuck, about 50 guys ran on the field. You got to be alive.
Big team, son. We yelled it at everybody. Come on.
The edge. I think that that's been my slogan since I've become a head coach, that if you're going to be great, you need to dare to live on the edge to become great. Expect to be great, but take the chance to win.
Born to be wild? Yes, indeed. Don Matthews, and it may very well be a wild season in Regina for his Rough Riders. He needs two things. He needs a healthy quarterback, and he needs the kind of defensive players who can play his style of ball. There's not much he can do about the quarterbacking, but hope Kent Austin will be healthy. He thinks he's got the personnel to play a Don Matthews style of defense. Coming up next, we'll get our first look at Doug Flutie as a Calgary Stampeder as he faces this new and improved Saskatchewan Rough Rider team. Check your local listings for the game time in your area. It's coming up next on TSN.